Hey everyone, this is part 2 of the confusing words videos. Part 1 you'll see at the end of this video there'll be a link. It's got 10 confusing words, 2 or 3 in each, and now another 10 or so. The first 2 words are emigrate and immigrate. They're very similar, and I know these words well because I work with immigrants. Newcomers who have come to Canada to start their lives. I teach them English, I teach them life skills, how to do things in Canada, the bureaucracy and the red tape and all of that. I get them comfortable, and they move on to higher schooling after they come with me. So we'll start with emigrate. Emigrate means to move away from a city. So you emigrate from somewhere. My great-great-great-great-grandparents emigrated from Germany, and they immigrated to Canada. So you emigrate from, immigrate to. You're an immigrant if you're coming to Canada. We call them newcomers, but they're immigrants. So emigrate is to leave and go to another country. My grandparents emigrated from Germany, and they immigrated to Canada. Emigrate, immigrate. Okay, next two are used in writing more, but I'll put them up. It's EG and IE. EG, they're both Latin abbreviations. EG means, for example. IE means, that is. So, EG, for example, I can say, I love superhero movies. For example, Thor, Captain America, Batman, Wonder Woman. I gave you an example of superhero movies. I like all of the superhero movies. DC, Marvel, they're very different. DC is very dark, Marvel's very light and fluffy. They're very different, but I like them. I like fast sports, for example, hockey, racing. Those are examples of fast sports. IE, meaning that is very specific when you're talking about something. So, there's the new Marvel movie opening this Friday, i.e. Marvel's Infinity War, because that's the specific one. That is the one that is opening. And that is the difference between, for example, a general example of something, and that is the thing you're talking about. E.g., I.e. Next, there's 3. Empathy, sympathy, apathy. Empathy, sympathy, apathy. All right. Empathy is the ability you have to understand someone else's situation. And I will give you an example. So the example of empathy is, I can empathize, which is the verb of empathy. I have empathy for my students because they come to another country and they can't communicate very well. Some of them. Mine can. Mine are high level. But when some of them came, they had 0 English. I feel empathy because when I lived in Poland, and yes, I lived in Poland for 7 years, when I moved to Poland, I spoke 0 Polish. So I can empathize. I feel empathy. I understand what it's like. You're an adult, you're an educated person, and then you can't communicate. You feel like a child, and it's really hard. You can't have a meaningful conversation, and that's empathy. Now, sympathy. Sympathy is when you feel sorry for someone. You feel their sorrow. You don't feel sorry, you feel their sorrow because of their suffering. When someone who passes away, you feel sympathy for them. You send them sympathy. You feel sympathetic, which is the adjective. And that's the sympathy. And now we all know we have empathy if we've all lost someone. You feel that. But the sympathy is the sorrow that you feel for someone else's suffering. And you know, around the world people are suffering, and in some countries they suffer because of war. We in Canada haven't experienced war firsthand, we can't feel empathy if we've never experienced it, but we can feel sympathy and feel for their sorrow. And then the third one is apathy. Apathy is you just don't care. It doesn't matter to you. You just don't feel anything about it at all. And some people feel apathy towards government and elections, and they don't vote. Examples in a country, maybe you had two candidates and they were both not great. One was a little better than the other one. One was a politician, the other one was nobody, had no experience. But people felt apathy. They didn't vote for this one, so this one won. And then you're stuck. And that's what happens sometimes when you feel apathy. So you've got empathy, sympathy, apathy. All right. Farther with an A and further with a U. These come into play. They're very similar. But farther with an A refers to physical distance. Johnny can run farther than Bob because Johnny's been training. It's a physical distance. You can run farther than someone. Certain cars can drive farther than other cars on a tank of gas because the tank is bigger. Farther is physical distance. Further is a metaphorical distance. If you're both trying to do a project, you're both trying to do an essay, he's further along than this person. Or you watch cooking competitions and they're cooking the same dish. Bob is further along than Mary. He's 3 steps ahead. It's not physically, but it's metaphorically. You're further. So you got farther with an A and further with a U. Next two. Flaunt, F-L-A-U-N-T, and flout, F-L-U-T. Flaunt means to show off. You flaunt something. You've got it, you flaunt it. There's a lot of celebrities, you see them flaunting it. Peacocks, when they put their big tail up, they're flaunting. They've got it, they flaunt it. Flaunting is showing off. You buy new clothes, you flaunt it, new jewelry. People say, "Oh, look at my," women when they get engaged, they'll sit like this with the ring. "Oh, I'm flaunting." They're flaunting the ring. That's flaunting. Flouting is defying a rule negatively. On purpose, you defy that rule. You go against it. Say you work for a company and they have a dress code where men have to wear a suit and a tie, which is a strict dress code. You show up to work wearing flip-flops and cut-off jeans and a muscle shirt. You're flouting the rules completely, thumbing your nose, which is you're going against them. That's an idiom. You can put that in an idiom video. So you're flouting the rules completely, just with scorn, as they say, or anger. You have to wear a tie to work, and the boss is coming to work. You're going to wear your tie. But if you choose not to, you're flouting the rules right in front of the boss. And it's with this anger and resentment that you're doing that. So that's flout. Flaunt is to show off. Flout is to defy the rules. Next two, gaff and gaff. Pronunciation is exactly the same. Gaff, no E. Gaff with an E. A gaff, G-A-F-F, is a long spear with a handle on it. It's got a hook on the end of it, and you've got a handle. It's a gaff. I think fishermen might use it. It's like a spear and a hook. I think there's a gaffer too in movies. They've got the microphone on a stick, and he's the gaffer. So you get a gaff, usually from a fishing boat stick. Maybe I'll show you a picture of a gaff. Okay, that was a gaff. Now, the gaff, G-A-F-F-E, is a faux pas, a social mistake. You make a gaff. It's a mistake. And when you call someone by the wrong name, that's a gaff. It's a social mistake, a faux pas. We call it. I had a cat. Her name was Faux Pas. one, she had faux pas, and it was a mistake that we got her. We called her faux pas. And that was it. So yeah, that's a gaff. Gaff is a hook with a long stick, and a gaff is a social mistake, a faux pas. Gray and gray. Gray with an A, gray with an E. Gray with an A is usually American, and gray with an E is the British. Sometimes there's a name. I think wasn't the, the story about the Mr. Gray, 50 Shades of Gray. But gray A is American standard, gray E is the British standard. Next one's big. Students make this mistake all the time. Historic, historical. Historic, historical. Historic means famous or important. Something famous or important or influential, that had some influence on us. You visit some place, Kitty Hawk, where the Wright brothers made their first flight. That place that they did that is historic. The flight, sorry, was historic. The historic first flight. The first car, historic, when it came off of the, they made the first car and then Ford did the assembly line. Historic. It's influential, it's important. Historical means it's related to history. You can wear historical clothing, historical music, historical props. So historic is influential and important in history. Historical related to history. Something is historic, something is historical. And I'll give you some more examples. So the storms we had last year, the hurricanes, the 3 or 4 in a row, they were historic. They were very important. They're showing that the climate change is real. Some people don't believe it. They just refer to it used to be global warming, but it's not. It's climate change. The climate is changing. We had an ice storm here April 16th. That doesn't happen. It's historic. It's important. It's significant. Something's historical. If you see old footage, old movies from the old news, they're historical. It's historical footage of something that happened. And that's the difference between historic and historical. So I hope that's okay, that we understand that. Now we have imply and infer. Imply means you're hinting at something without saying it. So you're not saying it directly, but you're hinting that it. You can imply that there's going to be a test without telling your students. You just hint at it, and hopefully they can figure out that that's what you're doing. You're trying to tell somebody something without saying it. To say to somebody that they're going to be in trouble, but without telling them that, you're implying. What are you implying? You're not saying it directly. I don't know if it's a polite thing to do, but you imply something. Infer is that what you do when you figure out what somebody's trying to say about something. So imply, I say it in a different way than I mean it. And infer is when somebody hears me say that, they can infer from that, they can deduce that I didn't say it directly. If I can see somebody acting kind of funny and they're looking around and I can infer that they're a little bit nervous or they're a little paranoid, they're a little afraid of something. I don't see it directly, but I'm guessing that from there. And then I can say to them, you look a little nervous, and say, what are you implying? No, I didn't say that. But imply is you say something that doesn't have a direct meaning, and infer, you guess what something has happened without the direct meaning. And the last, it's and its. These ones get me. It's apostrophe S equals it is. It's sunny today. It is sunny today. It's a funny movie. It is a funny movie. It's not yours. It is not yours. It's apostrophe S. It's is possessive. And it belongs to something. That's the it's. Who does that belong to? Well, it's car. It's house. it belongs to that thing. It's they're talking about its author. The book, let's refer to this book. We're talking about the book's author. We say its author. Its author is this. Its owner. There's a dog. Who owns the dog? Well, its owner is the guy down the street. Oh, which house? It is the house. It's the house that has the red door. So its owner lives in the house down the street. So it is funny, it is here, it is there, it is raining. Its is possessive. Its owner, its dog, its house. So those are 10 I think I gave you. I hope. This is part 2. If you like it, subscribe. Subscribe button's right down there. And share and watch the other videos. We got idioms and I got stories and I've got jokes. And I'm trying a couple of new things and see what you like. And stay tuned for part 3. Thank you so much for your support. I love it. I need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours. Have a great day. See you soon.